Hi, I'm George Miller and I'm going to read my favourite extracts from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Harry woke early the next morning. Although he could tell it was daylight, he kept his eyes shut tight. It was a dream, he told himself firmly. I dreamed a giant called Hagrid could come to tell me I was going to a school for wizards. When I open my eyes, I'll be at home and in the cupboard. There was suddenly a loud tapping noise, and there's Aunt Petunia knocking on the door. Harry thought his heart sinking, but he still didn't open his eyes. It had been such a good dream. Tap, tap, tap. All right, Harry mumbled. I'm getting up. He sat up and Hagrid's heavy coat fell off him. The hut was full of sunlight. The storm was over. Hagrid himself was asleep on the collapsed sofa, and there was an owl wrapping its claws around the window, a newspaper held in its beak. Harry scrambled to his feet, so happy he felt as though a large balloon was swelling inside him. He went straight to the window and jerked it open. The owl swooped in and dropped the newspaper on top of Hagrid, who didn't wake up. The owl then fluttered on the floor and began to attack Hagrid's coat. Don't do that. Harry tried to wave the owl out of the way, but it snapped its beak fiercely at him and carried on savaging the coat. Hagrid, said Harry loudly. There's an owl. Pay him. Hagrid grunted in the sofa. What? He wasn't paying for a delivery on the paper. Look in the pockets. Hagrid's coat seemed to be made of nothing but pockets. Bunch of keys, slug pellets, balls of strings, mint humbugs, tea bags. Finally, Harry pulled out a handful of strange-looking coins. Give him 5 nuts, said Hagrid sleepily. Nuts? The little bronze ones. Harry counted out 5 little bronze coins. Owl's held out leg. He could put the money into a small leather pouch tied to him. Then it flew off the open window. Hagrid yawned loudly and sat up and stretched. Best off, Harry, lots to do today. Got to get up to London before school's out. What's your favourite book to read this World Book Day?
Hi, I'm Tom Anderson and I'm going to read you an extract from my favourite book, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The Rogue Bludger. Since the disastrous episode of the Pixies, Professor Lockhart had not brought live creatures to class. Instead, he read passages from his books to them and sometimes reenacted some of the more dramatic bits. He usually picked Harry to help him with these reconstructions. So far, Harry had been forced to play a simple Transylvanian villager whom Lockhart had cured of a babbling curse, a yeti with a head cold, and a vampire who had been unable to eat anything except lettuce since Lockhart had dealt with him. Harry was hauled to the front of the class during their very next defence against the dark arts lesson, this time acting a werewolf. If he hadn't been a very good reason for keeping Lockhart in a good mood, he would have refused to do it. Nice loud howl, Harry said. Exactly. And then, if you believe it, I pounced. Like this, slammed him in the door. Thus, with one hand, I managed to hold him down. With my other, I put my wand to his throat. I then screwed up my remaining strength and performed the immensely complex Homorphose charm. He let out a piteous moan. Go on, Harry. Higher than that. Good. The Far vanished. The fangs shrank and he turned back into a man. Simple yet effective, and another village will remember me forever as the hero who delivered them from the monthly terror of werewolf attacks.
Hi, I'm Draco Malfoy and I'm the kit man here at Doncaster Rovers Football Club. I'm going to read you an extract from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, written by J.K. Rowling. Chapter 10, Halloween. Malfoy couldn't believe his eyes when he saw that Harry and Ron were still at Hogwarts the next day, looking tired but perfectly cheerful. Indeed, by next morning, Harry and Ron thought that the meeting, the three-headed dog, had been an excellent adventure, and they were quite keen to have another one. In the meantime, Harry filled Ron in about the package that seemed to have moved from Gringotts to Hogwarts, and they spent a lot of time wondering what could possibly need such heavy protection. It's either really valuable or really dangerous, said Ron. Or both, said Harry. But as they all knew for sure about the mysterious object was that it was about 2 inches long, they didn't have much of a chance of guessing what it was without further clues. Neither Neville or Hermione showed the slightest interest in what lay underneath the dog and the trapdoor. All Neville cared about was never going near the dog again. Hermione was now refusing to speak to Harry and Ron, but she was such a bossy know-it-all that they saw this as an added bonus. All they really wanted now was a way of getting back at Malfoy, And to their great delight, just such a thing arrived with the post about a week later. As the owls flooded into the Great Hall as usual, everyone's attention was caught at once by a long, thin package carried by 6 large screech owls. Harry was just as interested as everyone else to see what was in the large parcel, and was amazed when the owls soared down and dropped it right in front of him, knocking his bacon to the floor. Don't need that. They'd hardly fluttered out of the way when another owl dropped a letter on top of the parcel. Harry ripped open the letter first, which was lucky because it said, "Do not open the parcel at the table. It contains your new Nimbus 2000, but I don't want everybody knowing you've got a broomstick, or they'll all want one. Oliver Wood will meet you tonight on the Quidditch pitch at 7 o'clock for your first training session. Signed, Professor M. McGonagall." Hello, I'm Matt, the kit man at Doncaster Rovers. Happy World Book Day. My favourite childhood book, The Hungry Caterpillar. Great read. Obviously, I always remember the Biff and Chip books and The Magic Key and Thomas the Tank Engine. My top tip for reading is probably finding somewhere quiet where you can really lose yourself in the book. Maybe you get yourself a packet of biscuits, a little drink. So a little motivational message is it's okay to find it tricky. The more you read, the easier it will get. And never judge a book by its cover, in more ways than one.
So it's World Book Day today. How important is it that people read?
I think it's very important because I think it helps with like child development of creativity, helps with the spelling, learning. I think it's majorly important.
Yeah, and like Josh says there with the spelling and learning different kind of words and just helping you relax as well. I think that's what it does for me. Sometimes before bed I like to have a little read, and I think it's important to do daily.
And what would be your favourite book?
I think my favourite book would be probably Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
And mine, I like all the Harry Potters, you know, obviously I love the films. So after I watched all the films, I got into the books and loved them just as much.
I think any parents who are looking for a bedtime story for their children, just try and send the kids off to sleep, you want to go for James Coppinger's Ahead of the Game. That's out now, I think.
If there's any top tips, it's probably don't read James Coppinger's book. I mean, you can judge that by its cover. Yeah. Shocking cover. It's a shocking read.